Girl Scouting, how it began. Scouting started in India and Africa when an English army officer named Robert Stephenson Smith Baden-Powell tried out new methods of training young men who were entering the army. He devised and created these new ways of training, which he called scouting. In August 1 to 8, 1907, the world's first scout camp was organized by Robert Baden-Powell and held at Brownsea Island, Poole Harbor in England, which marked the beginning of the scouting movement. With the success of Baden-Powell's experiment, he wrote his handbook entitled Scouting for Boys and had it published in 1908, which became bestseller, and it formally began the Boy Scout movement and eventually spread throughout Great Britain and Ireland and then to other countries. In 1909, a rally was held at Crystal Palace in London, and 11,000 Boy Scouts attended, and so did a big group of girls. The Boy Scout movement began, and since Baden-Powell could not turn down the girls, he asked his sister Agnes Baden-Powell to organize the movement for girls. He called them Girl Guides. He took the name from the brave and resourceful soldiers of the Indian Regiment and the courageous guides of Switzerland. From then on, guiding spread to other countries as far as Sweden, USA, Africa, and Iceland. In 1911, Juliet Lowe met Lord Baden-Powell and she became interested with girl guiding. In March 1912, Juliet Lowe organized the first American troop composed of 18 girls. Margaret Daisy Dutz Gordon, Juliet's niece, was the first registered member. On the same year, Baden-Powell met Olive St. Clair Sams on his cruise to Jamaica. They got married on October of the same year. In 1913, Juliet Lowe changed the name Girl Guiding to Girl Scouting. In 1918, Lady Olive Baden-Powell became the chief guide for Britain and was presented a gold silverfish medal. In 1928, Lord Baden-Powell and Life Olive traveled far to organize Boy Scouting and Girl Guiding in many countries. Hence, the founding of the World Association of Girl Guides and Girl Scouts, popularly known as WOGS. In 1930, Lady Baden-Powell was elected World Chief Guide by the World Scout Bureau, the Secretariat of the World Organization of Scout Movement. Girl Scouting began in the Philippines. In 1917, American missionaries organized the first Girl Scout troops in the Philippines and registered them directly in the Girl Scouts of USA. Several lone troops were organized by missionaries, such as the Red Rose Troop of Davao in 1918, Capiz in 1928, Mountain Province in 1928 also, and Leyte in 1932. The movement was formally founded by Josefa Lianis Escoda, a wartime heroine, through the initiative of the Boy Scout of the Philippines, who sent her to the United States of America in 1939 to take up Girl Scouting courses. She also observed guiding in Europe and visited the World Bureau in England. On May 26, 1940, the Girl Scout of the Philippines was chartered under Commonwealth Act No. 542 during the administration of President Manuel L. Quezon. In March 22, 1941, the first National Girl Scout Rally held at the Manila Grand Opera House drew more members to the organization. About 3,000 members were registered in 1941, but all records were destroyed during the Second World War. In December 1941, World War II broke out. GSP women rendered signal service to the country, collected clothes, foodstuff, medicines, and distributed them to our prisoners, camps and hospital in Camp O'Donnell, Capas, Tarlac, and Bungabong, Nueva Ecija. The GSP was not even 2 years old when the World War II broke out. It had to stop its formal operations, but vowed to continue its service, a nation in travail. In August 27, 1944, because of these underground activities, Josefa Lianis Escoda and her husband were arrested by the Japanese and were thrown into the dreaded dungeons of Fort Santiago, the infamous prison during the Japanese occupations. When Manila was liberated in 1945, Ms. Elvira Leones informed Girl Scout USA of the tragic death of Mrs. Escoda. She requested Girl Scout USA to help reorganize the movement, and it responded promptly. In 1946, the Girl Scout of the Philippines admitted as a tenderfoot member of the World Association of Girl Guides and Girl Scouts, or WAGS. It was given the full status in 1948. In bestowing honor of full WAGS membership to GSP, Lady Olive, the World Chief Guide, said, "You have proved yourself to be playing this fine game of guiding and scouting just as well as the girls of all the many other nations who are already members of it." On June 2, 1975, Presidential Decree 720 authorizing the restructuring of the GSP was signed in Malacanang by President Ferdinand E. Marcos. On the same occasion, the First Lady, Mrs. Imelda R. Marcos, took her oath as Chief Girl Scout on March 17, 1976. The new GSP Constitution and bylaws were ratified and confirmed by the President and the First Lady. Through the years, the Girl Scout of the Philippines continues to pursue vigorously in character building and youth development programs and is actively contributing to the economic thrust of the country as part of the movement's commitment to nation building. On May 26, 2015, Girl Scouts of the Philippines will be celebrating its 75th Diamond Jubilee year.